There are now more spot XRP ETFs on the market thanks to help from the SEC. If you own XRP, October might be the best month for you. All of this and more will be given to you in October so that the price of XRP can hit all-time highs. First, let's talk about what's going on now and what I think will happen next. Let's go. The SEC plans for the XRP ETF are now over. Before November 14th, the SEC will make a final decision on at least 6 to 11 spot XRP ETF applications sent by big asset managers. This will happen between October 18th and November 14th. Some of these are coin shares, Bitwise 21 shares, Franklin Templeton shares, and Grayscale shares. If spot XRP ETFs are allowed, institutions would be able to use XRP as money. This could bring in $4 billion to $8 billion in the first year. Some people who work with XRP believe that the first month could see as much as $5 billion invested in it. We'll see if they're right. His name is Mark McClug, and he works for Canary Capital. I did want to show you how some choices are made around here. The SEC made it easier by adding new rules for general listings. The SEC has made it easier for cryptocurrencies that are traded on an exchange to be accepted. These rules mean that platforms don't have to go through a long and difficult SEC review process in order to sell commodity-based ETFs. This includes ones that are tied to crypto. The SEC had to look at each item and decide what to do with it. It went on for a long time and made me tired. There are now more ways to get these things approved. To speed up the crypto product they want to make, all that needs to happen is for a futures market to arise. XRP is one of those things. What really changed? Before, people who wanted to list an ETF on an exchange had to send a 19B for filing and an S1 register that described how the ETF worked. This was to ask for a rule change. Big D laid eggs for up to 240 days because of this. Lenders only need to file an S1 since September 2025, when the new listing rules went into effect. Because of changes in the law, the 19B4 method is no longer useful, and crypto ETFs were not possible before. It says that a lot of open ETF apps, like those for Solana, XRP, Litecoin, Cardano, and more, are now it's almost certain to be passed. And today could be any day. It might happen at any time. Someone asked a while ago what would happen with the other SEC ETFs that were already waiting to be cleared. We already know when to get together. What about those? The approvals for the spot XRP ETF have moved up the line since the SEC agreed to general listing standards. Case-by-case reviews, like the ones that used to be needed for 19BS filings, are no longer needed for things that are eligible. Like XRP, issuers have been told to get rid of the old files so they can work on the new S1 registration records. In short, they need to send in the new forms and return the old ones. They might accept the new ones any day now. This means that these times might not be the quickest that they can be made. It is the only XRP ETF that will be big enough. You can decide what to do after you look at the numbers. Size 2 to 10 people set up. It's a very small business. How much also? How much money is in this account? One of the main places where hedge funds are managed and traded is in Brentwood, Tennessee. It doesn't even say how much money they're in charge of. I believe that XRP, God, this thing is so hard to understand. Dude, the people doesn't know the exact number. That's not good. Not good. Okay. In this video, Paul Barron, the Quirk brothers, and I talk about XRP ETF approvals and how big this could be. Yes, I did show Canary Capital a video about their ADA for XRP. It was like the stuff they make in the United States. Steven joined last week. Oh, that was a really cool talk. Steven did say something very important though. What he said was that he thought the XRP ETF would be the biggest ETF in blockchain. Dom, I'll start with you. When it comes to moving, do you agree with that? For now, let's quickly go over the question Paul Barron put forward. Canary Capital's CEO said that their XRP ETF, Canary Capital's XRP ETF, would be the most well-known XRP ETF. When he asked this question, he thought he had heard something wrong. He was told that XRP would be the biggest. That was heard. He didn't know that Canary Capital's would be the biggest. I don't like that change. I just want it to be clear. When you listen to this at home, you might notice the same things I did. I just wanted to give you that extra bit of background. View on moves. To be clear, I would agree with that. I think the XRP hold the base is very big, even if you only look at it. In addition, I think that Coinbase has some of the most trades in XRP. Many other platforms also have some of the most trades in XRP, and Bitcoin is in the top 3. The most recent Coinbase report says that after Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Bitcoin are the names that are traded and held the most. It will be big, I think, for people who don't hold crypto and for people who do. But I don't. I truly think that Canary Capital will be the largest. I think the most important thing will be XRP. Let's talk about what could happen next. We already talked about it. Why do we have to wait any longer? Now, Ripple put in an application to become a national bank. They sent it to the OCC, which stands for the Office of Controller of Currency. Most of the time, they try to make a choice about a national bank license 100 days after getting it. This was sent in by Ripple in August 2025. This might take place in August, September, October, or November, just before the end of the year. Some people think it could also happen in October. Even though it happened at the beginning of August, I think we're getting too close to the window. November and December are still on the list. If this does pass, though, people will start to worry that they will miss out, which could make the price of XRP go up a lot. Most of the time, 120 days is the number. It could take 9 months or even a year, though, because the FDI has to do extra things. This could be important. It could not be something to be worried about. On top of that, multi-use tokens were just added to the XRP system. This is what many other groups need to move their systems to blockchain. To hear this clip, click here. I'll play it for you and tell you a lot about it. I'm thrilled about the year 2025. We have a lot of big plans for Ripple X, which is a brand new token standard made to work with real-world assets. It will also work with the MPT coin. We've said that the group of validators should decide if they want to use that change to the XRP system before we can do it. Still, we believe that's a good starting point for tokenizing real-world things. The next thing that will happen is that people will not know what to do with their tokens once they are on the blockchain. This is great news for the business world. How can I get worth for myself or my clients? When the DeFi guidelines come out, they will help with that. We're really excited about permission DEX and how they will power Ripple payments at first and then after that. There should be other uses in business trade. In this way, on-chain autonomous trade can happen in a permission setting. It's also made so that there can be arbitrage with the open markets, which makes sure there is as much liquidity as possible. These lines are perfect for adding trade between institutions to the chain. The second one that really gets me excited is lending on the XRP. At first, we will offer secured loans with off-chain screening. Toward the end of 2025, we will also begin to bring collateral on blockchain. From the Ripple point of view, that's all we have to say about XRP. In that case, there are 3 uses: payments, trading, and loans. All of these are aimed at banks and fintechs right now. Don't worry if you missed some of what she said. I got your text. Some of the most important changes that were made not long ago are shown below. Adding an extremely useful code to XLS33. This may have been passed yesterday or today. It was passed at the end of September 2025 and became law on October 1st, 2025. Okay, it did work today. Sets the standard for a new kind of token that can be used in different ways and stores data that can't be changed directly on the XRP system. It works best with stablecoins, digital cash, and assets that are by giving institutions and asset issuers a simpler one-way model. MPT tokens get around the older trustline IOU system. This way, they don't have to deal with 2 kinds of management debt. It's easier to follow the rules in NT when institutional DeFi and world assets are used together. This makes things more open and speeds things up. To do operations, there is talk about changes to IDs that will happen in September.